Mrs. Nolan. You're a little too alive." Suzanne Nolan had 3 lives. The official one, on social media, elegant, filtered, with number blessed under every photo. The physical one, with Thomas, her son, and the kitchen tiles she scrubbed every morning like a priest polishing a communion chalice. And the third, it didn't have a shape yet, but it already had a pulse. She was suspected of being too perfect. And that's deadly dangerous, because from perfect women, people expect eternal silence, even when they want to scream. It all started when she ran away. Not literally. No, literally, she just said, "I'm going to the dentist, and don't wait for me for dinner." It was so mundane that Thomas didn't even look up. Half an hour later, she was already sitting in an old Toyota Prius that belonged to her colleague, speeding toward an abandoned park where even the pigeons looked suspicious. He was waiting. Jason. The very one who once made her realize that normal guys are just a prison with air conditioning. He was sitting on a bench, chewing gum, looking like he'd just stepped out of a 2005 music video. "Hello, Mrs. Nolan. Didn't expect you to show up in my life again. Like an exam question I never prepared for. And you look like a reminder that I used to be stupid, and I liked it. You still like it. Otherwise, why would you come here, to a park where even the squirrels carry knives?" She smiled, but a jolt of electricity ran across her face. This guy knew how to make her laugh and get her into bed, with a single phrase. "I'm not for you, Jay. I'm in a different league now." "Yeah, in the league with a husband who wears socks with sandals and forgets your birthday. Socks are functional. And sex on Saturdays, that's an execution, and you're in it." They met regularly, in parks, supermarket parking lots, in an old library where no one read. She'd come in huge sunglasses and nerves stretched tight, like the strings on the guitar she once gave up for a normal life. "You smell like home," Jay said once, "but not like a closet, like a fire." She laughed so hard she scared a homeless man. "You never change. And you shed your skin, but you keep the poison." Once they went to a cheap motel, posing as a couple for 2.5 happiness. Quiet. No one asked. No one looked. Imagine if your Thomas showed up now, with an axe. He's not like that. "But I am. And I'm not yours. But I'm still here." They made love like teenagers who'd stolen the keys to the gym. Fast, angry, without unnecessary words. And when they lay side by side, he whispered, "You know we're like a virus in your system. You're still working, but already infected." When she got home, after midnight, Thomas was asleep. On the table was a cup of tea and a post-it note with a short message. "You never knew how to play. But I've been a player since childhood." She shuddered. She didn't know yet. He'd been spying on her, and he was preparing for a countergame. At first glance, nothing had changed. Thomas still fried eggs, her son still asked for new sneakers, and Suzanne kept playing the role of a woman who never suspects her husband has swapped himself for someone else. But something in the air wasn't breathing. He was silent. And Thomas was never silent if something bothered him. He'd go straight at it. But now, silence. And this silence was more dangerous than shouting. She noticed he was always reading something on his tablet now. Sometimes he looked at her longer than usual. Once, she came out of the shower and noticed her phone wasn't where she'd left it, just 2 centimeters off. But she knew. He knew something, but what exactly? That was a matter of life, death, or shame. She met Jason at the old railway station, where trains no longer stopped, but strangers' hearts regularly did. "I think he suspects something," she said, trembling. "You think?" "He's a firefighter. One whiff of smoke is enough for him to know there's a fire." "This isn't a game anymore." "What did you think? That you'd sleep with me at the Comet Motel and come home with the marks of sin on your thighs? And get away with it?" He spoke as if he enjoyed her fear, and for the first time she saw something dangerous in him. Not excitement, risk. Meanwhile, Thomas acted. He pulled everything from her phone, threw a backup, checked all the locations, called an old friend, a retired detective who'd always dreamed of using his skills not on robbers, but on unfaithful wives. And he put a camera in their Prius. He knew. When she said, "I'm going to Target," she was really going to the park, to him. "She doesn't know that I know," Thomas said, "and that's why now I can become what she never thought I was, dangerous." One evening, when Suzanne came home, everything was too clean. Candles, silence, and a note on a plate. "Tonight, a date. Wear red. And don't be late. I want to see you lie, live." Her heart pounded in her temples. She wore red. Lips, red, soul, black and white. She came to the restaurant and saw them both. Jason was sitting at the table with Thomas. They were drinking whiskey and laughing. If hell exists, it looks exactly like this. Suzanne sat down. Her glasses slipped off her nose. Her lipstick was a little smudged, but she held on. She was an actress in a movie she no longer controlled. "Well," she said, squeezing her napkin as if it were one of their throats. "Scene, curtain. What do you want from me?" "Nothing," Thomas replied, pouring more whiskey. "We're just watching to see how long you can stay on stage without a script." Jason chimed in, not taking his eyes off her. "Honestly, I thought it would be worse, but you're holding up. I'm not yours to judge. But you came." Silence hung in the air. Each of them was hiding something, maybe everything. Suzanne stood up. "You know what's the worst part of all this? Not that you caught me, not even that I did it, but that I feel nothing. No shame, no guilt, no fear." "That's actually the beginning of the end," Thomas said quietly. "Or the beginning of the beginning," she added, and left. Jason silently finished his whiskey. "Did you know she'd do that?" he asked. Thomas nodded. "She always runs when things get really interesting. And now, we see who breaks first." As she left the restaurant, Suzanne pressed the alarm button. Her Prius didn't respond. In its place, another car. Someone had changed her route. She looked around. No one was following her, but no one was ahead either. Or maybe, by now, everyone was behind her.